Hello, boys, girls, ladies, and gents, and those that identify as a toaster oven. Uh, I like to talk real quickly about something, and if my prediction is true about the future on this, if what I, I if you watch me for any period of time, you know how accurate I am about things I say, and how accurate I am about things that's going to happen 6 months in the future and everything else. I mean, and and the reason why that is because there's a few things about it, but the reason why that is I can base things on what has happened in the past to predict what's going to happen in the future. Okay. And on top of that, I can look at the algorithms of just the economy, and I'm really good at getting into algorithms. I don't know what it is about my mind, but my mind is just really good at getting into algorithms. I'm really good at also seeing things and knowing things and getting into things that other people can't seem to quite grasp. I don't know why my mind is like that. I'm really good with mathematics, and I seem to have always been pretty good at science, actually. And matter of fact, science was actually one of my best subjects, even though I believe in God and everything. Uh, but science was one of my best subjects, and I still love science. I think science is a beautiful thing. I think it's a lot of knowledge, a lot of technology, and a lot of stuff like that. And I think that the world is a beautiful thing. So I'm really good with just science. I'm really good with understanding things, and I can see for some reason these algorithms of things, the algorithms of how things are going to work. Okay, so what will have sort of a high point, sort of have low points. What would be the times when things are going to happen and when they're not going to happen, and stuff like that. I've just got a special abilities to be able to tell these things based on just from what I'm seeing, how things go, how things are flowing. I can look at a machine at work and I can tell you whether or not the machine's running great or not, like that, based on the fact that I can tell by the rhythm and the movement of that machine. And if there's something off about the rhythm and the movement or something, or if I'm hearing or seeing something or something like that, just a little small tick, if I see any little small thing, I can tell you whether that machine's running proper or not, and I can tell you how to get it back going. I've always been really good at that sort of stuff, right? Well, there's something about me. I mean, my mind doesn't function like normal people. I'm not a normal person. My mind doesn't function like normal people like that. So, based on what I'm seeing, and based on the algorithms of the world, with the Middle East about to implode at any given time, with a major war about to break out in the Middle East, with Russia and Ukraine happening, with the United States and the economy happening, they're getting ready to stop all import trades and stuff real bad here in the United States, which is going to cause more of a problem with the many different issues that I'm seeing in the world. I'm seeing many different issues in the world. I'm seeing just the entire algorithm system collapsing. You see what I'm saying? The whole entire algorithm system is in the world is telling me that there's a major collapse going to happen, because I'm seeing the outlines of how things should be going. How things should be running smoothly. It's like a heart. I can look at your heart movement, and I can tell the minute when you were stressed out, sort of when you were lying, or sort of when you had. If I can tell, I can sit here and start talking to you about, so show you a picture of your loved one, and I can start talking to you about your loved one, and I can actually take it and I can hand it to you and start talking to you about it. And you look at the picture, and you'll be calmer, you'll be cooler, you'll be more collected. Whether that be your child, whether that be your wife or husband or whatever else, and your heart will actually go down. Your stress levels will go down the minute I show you a picture of your loved one. It could be, I can even show you a picture of your dog or your cat or your ferret or your hamster or any kind of pet that you have, bird, anything. And I could take that, and I can hand you a picture of that, or I can just give you hand you a pet, and you will calm down, right? And you'll start petting that little pet, and you'll be like, yeah, 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 and you'll automatically calm down. A lot of people don't know this, and believe it or not, there was actually a thing one time that actually said fish aquariums. A lot of people talk bad about fish aquariums, but at one point, it was actually a lot of people. They did a study at one point that said watching fish every single day will reduce stress by 10% by having a fish tank. And if you think about it, when you go into a fish aquarium store, I can take you down to a great big place or a big Atlanta Aquarium or something like that, and you will calm down by the time you walk through that aquarium, right? Looking at the beautiful fish and the beautiful things. I can take you to a zoo, and you have to really kind of get after it at the zoo. You know, it's a lot to see, so you got to be moving, man. You got a lot you got to see. So you know you gotta get after it when you get there, but you will be calm. You'll be cool. You'll be collected. You'll be tired, but you'll be smiling at the end of the day, seeing all those beautiful animals. The next day you wake up, you'll feel relaxed. Okay, and that is because it's just like I'm talking about with this economy. Okay, and what I'm seeing with everything else in the world is uh, I'm seeing an algorithm line in the world. All right, when world peace is going on, let's say when the best times for world peace, basically. Of course, excuse me. Of course, it was never really totally world peace. I mean, we had never had totally world peace. Somewhere, somebody, even if it was warlords in Africa, or it was some kind of Bill Clinton, Iran, weapons of mass destruction and nuclear, and some kind of weapon thing or this and that. And they were constantly going in and attacking, Iran, in Iraq. So if we look at it, there's never really totally been world peace. But if we look at times of peace, or what we can consider some of the most times of peace, and we look at that flat line. In the 90s, that was really also one of the best times for the economy in the world too. The world economy was doing good. China was going up at that time. Then it got to the World Trade Center, but there were still World Trade Organization agreements and stuff. But if we look at this and we start really getting into it, we see what that baseline. We start looking at that baseline of what is good, right? And the 90s was some of the best times. 80s. When Reagan was in office, that was some of the best times. 70s was not a good time. The Vietnam War, this and that. If we look at it in the 60s, those were really hard, tough times for people, right? Those were not good times for anybody. Well, if we look at the baseline though of the times when times were good, okay. So during some of the times were good, we're talking about the Industrial Revolution times, which was back in like around 1800s and stuff like that. But the Industrial Revolution times. If we look at when the best times were, we can talk about prior to 19. Well, there was the Spanish flu at one point. But, prior to a certain time, let's say around 1901, 1910, 1915, those were actually pretty good times until 18. But those were actually pretty good times that the world had. They were smooth, pretty good, even times. And then, we've had all these different kind of things, and the uneven times, the bad times. And so what I'm seeing in the world. Now, this might seem crazy. Like I said, my mind doesn't work like everybody else's. What I'm seeing is, based from the baseline of times is good, people can afford to buy a new vehicle. People can go out here, they can afford to buy a new home. They can even get a new mobile home. Even if they're poor, they can still buy a mobile home and have put it on a rental lot, or have put it on a piece of land that they were able to get. They could get a mobile home at that time. Even if they were poor, they could still, at that time, So when we look at it, there was a baseline. We have a good quality baseline here. And with this nice good quality baseline, we can see this baseline, we got the Iran war about to go off. We've got Russia war about to go off. We got trade wars going on right now. We've got people refusing to send their products to the United States right now. We've got BRICS dollar about to kick on. We've got credit card debts going through the roof. We got car loans not getting made. Nobody's doing car loans. We've got all these different things. Okay, so then we got personal loans. We got defaults on loans. We've got houses going back. We've got people losing their job. We've got all this and that. So basically, this baseline is just keep going this. It just keeps going like this. This is the baseline, right? It just keeps going this. It just keeps going. You know, this, and then when we look at it, right now we just sort of slowly but surely have started with even the Russia, and even started with the Russia deal, and then before that it was the big Rona, and you know, the big Rona and the pandemic, all right, and this isn't a video, but this isn't a video about health concerns. This is a video about the economy and what's caused us to be where we are. So let's keep that straightened out, okay? So, you know, YouTube, don't bust me on anything. I haven't done anything wrong. But if we go back, we kind of look, and it started sort of way back here around the time of the pandemic. And then it started getting really up there, all right? Then it come back down again, and it started getting kind of smoothed back out. But there's been always trouble in times, even after the pandemic was over, even when Biden was in office there, and everything was starting to kind of, it's always been trouble in times, always been a problem, always been something, arguments, democracy, you know, this and that. Then we started having this leveling down trend, but it's never been the baseline. It's always been up about right here anyway, okay? But then we had this problem. Starting back over here again, we had this problem. Russia war. Boom, there's one. Then we got, well, Russia's talking about turning on the BRICS dollar. Well, there's two. So now we got that tension going on. Then we've got this other tension going on where we've got this other tension going on where we've got the Iran war now about to break out. We've got the United States wanting to put tariffs on everybody. And then we got people that want to stop shipping stuff to the United States. Okay? So, you know, it just keeps escalating. So this baseline, you know, the baseline, that was good. There was a good baseline there right before Trump. We had the baseline. I mean, right when Trump took office, those first 2 years, we had that baseline back right there. For those 2 years, we had that baseline. Beautiful baseline again, but it was going way too far out of debt. And people didn't want to listen to me back then because we had this way too far in debt stuff. And then that baseline started raising up huge. I mean, it went up huge when the pandemic hit. Then it jumped back down again, but after the pandemic was so-called over, so then it went back down again, but it's never been the baseline. It's always been about right here, okay? And the baseline is more like this, okay? So it's always been here. We've always had the money trouble. We've always had people getting kicked out of their houses. Even before the war with Russia, there was people getting kicked out of their houses, mass people getting thrown out of homes and stuff like that. All kinds of issues keep happening, one right after another, after another, after another. So when we go by the baseline and when we look at their algorithms and we can base it on all this stuff, we're starting to see a trend, and the trend is going up. All right. So we're so far down from the baseline. The baseline is down here somewhere in my lap, and then the dang top of this roof here, I can't see it because the cloud's covering it up right now. I mean, it's that high. You get my point? I mean, it's that high. That's how bad the baseline's off right now. So what I think is going to happen is it's all going to come to a head. The point of all this is it's going up, but I think what it's going to do is going to come to a head. And what I think is going to happen, and from what I'm seeing, what I'm basing it on, and we've got other issues going on, we got other major kind of problems going on, And from what I'm seeing and what I'm thinking is, I'm thinking that this whole system is just going to go like this, and then it's going to collapse all at one time. I think that the whole system is just going to do is basically going to basically it's going to go like it's just going to be like a bottle. And if you take a bottle and you blow hot air into it, you ever took a bottle then blow a bunch of hot air into it? Take a little water bottle and blow a bunch of hot air into it. You watch it implodes. Okay, it don't really go bad, but it implodes pretty good, right? So if I were to basically this is like a superheated a superheated bottle that's had all the oxygen boiled out of it, and now it's imploding, and that's what's going to happen with this whole system. Is it's not going to explode. It's not going to be a big problem. It's just going to implode, and when it happens, that's when the biggest problem is going to be. The biggest problem is when that happens. Now, when all that finally does happen, the biggest problem is it's going to be just a fast thing. It's not going to be bad. It's not going to be quick. It's not going to be slow. They're going to keep dragging you along. They're going to keep telling you this, and everything's going to be okay. It's all great because they're trying to get control of the situation that they're never going to get control of. And they don't want to admit that to the people, because if they admit that to the people that this is a problem, they can't get it under control, that this dollar is collapsing. The United States has lost its threshold as the world superpower. We're no longer the world superpower, really. Now it's China. China is really now the world superpower. We're no longer the world superpower. We're no longer our dollar right now is the world reserve currency, which is the only thing that's holding us up. And that, as soon as the BRICS dollar gets turned on, it's gone. Okay. Then you've got this other problem where you've got this power shift of everything. I've done explained this, how that's want to go, that the power shifts want to go from America and India India, Iran, Russia, China, Brazil, and all these other, and South Africa have all agreed to this. And basically Australia, Canada, and I've already went through all this stuff about the BRICS dollar, but basically this whole thing is basically a power shift. Okay, so basically they're not wanting to let this power shift happen, right? So we got that happening. Okay, so we've got all this stuff going. Okay, and what I'm thinking is that before they even have a chance to really turn on the BRICS dollar, before any of this ever happens, is what I think will happen. Now this is my opinion, but what I think will happen, and they've also talked about doing away with actual physical money and make you use digital currency. They've already talked about that, and they've talked about how they would like to do that. Okay, so what I'm thinking will happen is the United States, the whole United States system, and the whole world system will collapse all at one time. I don't think it'll be a slow thing. I don't think it'll be a slow burn. I don't think it's going to be any kind of burn that's within your control or my control or anybody's control. I think the whole system is going to do this. It's just going to be there. Everything's going to be looking all beautiful. Boom! I got you all at one time. And that's how it's going to fall. The whole system in this world is going to collapse all at one time. And I really, what I think is this all going to start it's all going to start to plummet, and that's when they're finally going to just say, "Hey, I've had enough. I'm tired of trying to hang on," and that's when they're just going to go. And this will actually be a good thing for any kind of tyrannical government system that wants to have control over the people, because the tyrannical government systems that's trying to get complete control over the people will have to enter the government. They will have to do what the government says. They will have to buy what the government says. They will have to do everything, be regulated by the government. They'll be told what to do, where to go, and everything else. They'll be told how they can spend their money and everything else. I mean, watch this movie called, not watch the movie, but it's a little bitty thing. You can watch it free here on YouTube. Or you can buy the book. It's called Animal Farm. Animal Farm. Or you can look up, you can also look up George Orwell's 1984, but it's also Animal Farm. And basically, really, the one you really need to look up is Orwell's 1984, then look at Animal Farm. But in Orwell's 1984, this utopia for the government is is a big talking head. You know, it's basically like the movie V for Vendetta. You know, the big talking head, and the big talking head is the way it's going to go. This whole system is just going to go. And the thing about it is, the government really doesn't care. They're going to get tired of trying to hang on to it all. The government really doesn't care because then it's going to allow them to come in and maximize, and then they'll benefit from it for big stuff. And the big pharma, the big companies, they'll all profit from this. So think about it. The whole system, like I said, that whole algorithm system is falling apart. There is no baseline anymore. The baseline's gone. Okay, so the whole system's going to go, and it's going to collapse all the time. And that's my opinion. I've looked at everything. I've seen everything. I've looked at how things are flowing. Keep an eye on so many different things, and so many different things I can't even show here on YouTube and everything else. And well, not only that, there's going to be another problem too, and I really shouldn't talk about it, but there's going to be another problem too. And right now, there's a lot of people. Have you noticed that's not making it through 2025? A lot of people not making it through. It's going to make it through 2026, and that's going to be another problem within itself. They're not making it through it. You get what I'm saying? I don't want to get into too much on that, but yeah, they're not really making it through it. Have you noticed? So that's another big problem we're going to have. Another big problem we're having in the world. Think about all that. So we got the world that's going to implode, and then on top of that, we're losing so many people. So just think about all that. So anyway, take it easy, be good, get at it, and try your best, man. Try your best. Get you some guns, get you some bullets, get you some ammo. I can't say it enough. Get you some food, lots and lots of food, guns, ammo, everything else, and try to beat this